Warm welcome to CrossYoga. My name is Rie. I'm the host of this channel. Today I'll guide you through a flow session. It will be just yoga in the sense that it'll be a class that I would able to teach in a regular yoga studio or in a fitness center or gym. So not Christian yoga as such, but you can make it your Christian practice if you like. Let's just sit down on the mat for a short while to calm our mind, calm our breath before we start moving today. Sit tall with your spine up towards the sky. Hands resting on your thighs or your knees. Eyes closed, and maybe you have a gentle smile on your face. Calm your breath, make your breath deep. Inhaling and exhaling through your nose. Listen in to your body. Is it saying, I'm tired or exhausted or full of energy, I just want to move? And there might be a sentence that you would like to repeat to yourself. Something you need to remember in a positive way. So if you practice Christian yoga, it can be a verse from the Bible, or if you just are into regular yoga, maybe I am worthy, or I am loved. In our flow class, we'll use our Ujjayi breath. So inhale and exhale through your nose if you can. And on your exhale, you get that snoring sound. You kind of lock your throat a little bit as you do this. If you're not used to it, never mind, just breathe. Now let's follow a little bit of movements with our breath. Now move to your right side. Left arm to the front, right arm back. Inhale, lift your arms up towards the sky, and exhale, twisting to your left. Inhale, lift your arms up, twisting your core, and exhale down. Continue making sure you're not leaning back. So actually, mainly just moving your shoulders. And let's finish this one up with the last side. So you feel like you've done an even amount of twists here. From there, maybe do some free seated postures, whatever suits your body. Wrists always great to move, at least in my body. In yoga, we tend to use our hands just as much as our feet, and our hands are just a little more delicate than our feet, so it's a good thing to warm up our wrists and fingers and elbows and all that. Maybe you continue for a little bit longer here seated. If not, come into your down dog and keep moving with your creative, free postures. Still moving with your Ujjayi breath. Slow movements, almost like you're doing things in mud. Kind of slow and heavy. All right, if you're not in down dog, please move into down dog. Do just a little bit of movement. And now we take up our right leg, lift it towards the sky, three-legged dog, and then step your foot through. Let your hips sink down. Now you might need blocks for this. If you can't reach the floor due to tight hamstrings or something, just do whatever works if you don't have blocks. But move forth and back, wide-legged pyramid, and into your lunge pose here. Free kind of warm up for our hips and legs. So remind yourself that yoga, how we practice it today, is your practice, and you can choose all varieties or easier, more advanced postures if you like. Make it your practice. Now step it to the front end of your mat, hip width distance in between your feet, and fold forward. Maybe you bent your knees a lot. Let go of your head, say no with your neck. Feel the heaviness in your head now that we have the head down for a little bit. Spread out your toes, even out the weights on your feet as you sink your hip down. Chair pose. Lift your arms up. Pull out the fingers really wide. And then stand up tall. Let your thumbs wrap around each other. Lean back, elbows out to the side, small back bend, opening up your chest. And maybe repeating the sentence, the mantra, whatever affirmation you want to call it. All right, let go. Come into forward fold again. Fingers reach down. Half lift. And here you might bend your knees quite a lot as we'll move back into plank pose. So fingers all the way down to your mat. Spread out the fingers on toes or on knees. Lower down, elbows in by your rib. When you're down on the floor, lift your chest up, baby cobra. Move into your down dog again. Try to take 2 deep breaths in, down dog, letting your heels sink low, tucking your shoulders back. Beautiful. Left leg, lift it towards the sky, bend the knee and step it through. Repeating what we did on the other side. With or without blocks, moving forth and back. You can even choose to bend both knees, like most of the time as you go back. Like you're kind of an animal waking up, like, oh. Maybe you've seen a cat waking up, just stretching, moving. Looks so comfortable. Next time your front knee is bended, again, step it to the front, forward fold. Might feel you're a little bit warmer now, and you can go just a tiny bit deeper in your forward fold. Before we start a sequence where I'll build on more and more postures, just finish up our warm-up. Sit low in your chair, once again, arms up. Now we'll do a small sequence. Take your arms down by your side, lean forward in a horizontal line with your spine. Shoulders squeezed back. So this pose will be where we end. And then we move down to chair pose again. So inhale and exhale, squeeze shoulder blade. Inhale, chair. Let's do it faster. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Moving our legs quite a lot. A few more times. Now I'll be cueing a lot of breathing, inhaling and exhaling throughout the class. But if that doesn't work with you, just breathe whenever it works with you. So don't feel like you're wrong, okay? Just breathe. And maybe one day we'll get in sync and maybe not. All right, chair pose the last time. Lift up, throw your arms out to the side, open up for do whatever positive things you need to listen into today. Beautiful. Palms together, high mountain. Take your hands down in front of your chest. And your palms kind of be forceful together. Now lift up right leg, our first pose here. Point your toes like a ballerina. Quads and thighs really engaged. Lift up your arms and maybe go for a small back bend if you happen to be able to keep your balance. Take your arms down in front of your chair pose again. Right leg slowly moves back into a version of our warrior 3. Hips closed and toes pointing down. Stretch both legs without hyperextending and just look at the ground. I'll tell you when it's time to move. Now we'll do these poses a little bit slow the first time. Now it's time to move. Fingers down on the mat and lower down the right leg on the floor. Turn it around, aligned with the short end of the mat. Lift your right arm up towards the sky. Align your shoulders so they're stacked. Again, use your block if you like. Now this top shoulder, really move it back. Further back than you think you would have to. From here, move into warrior 2, bending the front knee so that knee and ankle are above each other. Stretch out your arms, maybe looking back into the front. Shorten the distance in between the legs if this is too tough today. Now both hands down on the mat. Lift the back heel off the floor, sink down, let your hip grow towards the floor and the mat. See if both fingers can reach the floor and step this left foot back into three-legged dog. And you might just adjust your stance on the mat. Open up your hip by bending the knee, letting the heel reach towards the glutes, lifting the knee up as high as you can. Engage your rook lock and just do one more big Ujjayi breath. Close your hip, downward facing dog, and then optional vinyasa as we call it. Inhale, this is your vinyasa, to plank. Exhale, lower down. Again, elbows by your ribs, shoulders a little bit further than your hands. Lift up your chest in up dog or cobra. Move back into down dog. Jump or walk. If you jump, lift the heels up, look towards your hand, and slowly jump. Come onto your heels, forward fold. Inhale, lift your arms up in a high mountain, hands down in prayer pose. All right, that was the first part of the postures. Left leg lifted. Maybe you lift really high, maybe not. Point your toes, lift your hands up. Option of leaning back, like you're opening up your chest. Ooh, it's a lot of balance here. Fingers down, prayer pose again. Take a look at the floor as you take left leg back in your warrior 3. And be graceful with yourself and your balance. See if you can feel like you're hugging your inner thighs a little bit together. Flexing the foot and just 1 or 2 more inhales and exhales. Fingers down on the mat, lower down left foot. Pivot it around, warrior 2 feet so that heels are somewhat aligned. Left arm reaches up. Now if you can't have your fingers here on the inside of the foot, just move, outside of the foot, just move to the inside of the foot. Use your blocks. Lower down the outer edge of the back foot firmly into the mat. Warrior 2, lift up, using your thighs, maybe stretching before you go down in your version of Warrior 2 today. Notice if your shoulders are stacked with your hip. Move both hands around, lift the back heel off the mat. Step the right leg there in front, back. 3-legged dog, bend your knee. Now the leg on the ground there is extended, and the heel sinks somewhat towards the ground. Square off your shoulders, aligned with the short end of the mat. Ears somewhat aligned with your arms. Beautiful. Moving your feet down, downward facing dog, maybe side it out. Optional vinyasa, inhale plank. Exhale, lower down, make sure you take your time. Distribute the weight evenly on your left and right side. Cobra, up dog, downward facing dog. Say the sentence that you're having as a theme, maybe, as an intention. Again, jump or walk to the front of your mat. Fold forward. High mountain. Hands up towards the sky, palms together. Catch your breath if you're kind of out of breath or exhausted. Let's repeat that part, but going a little bit faster. Right leg to the front, point your toes, lift your arms up, palms still together. Lean maybe a little bit back. Make sure your core is involved and engaged. Moving your right leg back, hands in front of your chest in prayer pose, Warrior 3 version. As you get there, take 1 breath. Lower down the foot, you might want to reach the floor, maybe not. Turn the back foot around, left hand down, use your block if you need. Left arm reaches up, shoulder pivot back. Warrior 2. Exhale if you kind of sink down and go low if you want to work out today. Let's float back, still bending the front knee, but lifting the front palm up and leaning back, stretching the whole side. Triangle pose, extend the front knee, move the hip back aligned with the heels as you move to the front. Maybe just staying here, maybe going a little bit deeper. There is no need to prove anything here on the yoga mat. Rather, proper alignment. Then you have to showing yourself what you can do. Look down on the mat, lift the back heel off the mat. Let's do Crescent Lunge or High Lunge. Arms lift up towards the sky. Again, stretch your fingers out. Maybe move your fingers if that's something you like. Let's let the palm reach back together. Fold your hands behind your back and go for a small back bend. Try to see if you can even your hips with the short end of the mat, squeezing your shoulder blades back. And let go. Hands down the mat, and I did not forget the three-legged dog. Now we're doing it. Left leg moves up and back. Open up your hip again. Keep breathing. Close your hip and move your left leg in between right foot and hand. Maybe take your left leg a little bit in towards the center of the mat as you move into your supported side plank. Both hands down on the mat again. Now take this left leg, move it up. We're not completely done yet. And maybe you want to flip it over so that you take left leg behind you, reach the floor. If you don't want that, just stay in your three-legged dog. Open up your chest, lift your hip up towards the sky. Micro bend your elbow. And let go. That's a powerful sequence, huh? Optional vinyasa again, which means you can stay in your down dog or in child's pose if you like. Plank, lower down, low plank. Lift up your chest, move your shoulders back. Downward facing dog. You feel that tiredness and maybe ease in your body arrives. Again, step or walk to the front of your mat. Fold forward, exhale. Inhale, high mountain. Palms together, hands down in prayer pose. And one large, freeing Ujjayi breath. Extend left leg, lift your hands up towards the sky. And maybe go for the back bend. Hands again in front of your chest as you move left leg back in our Warrior 3 pose. If you want to do your full Warrior 3 with your hands in front, go ahead. Close your hip. If you can keep your balance, you can always take a look to the back of the foot if it's really pointing down. Now lower down the foot, maybe hands on the ground. Turn the back foot around, check if the heels are aligned. Left arm up, right arm the outer edge of the foot. Take your shoulders away from your ears. Warrior 2. Reverse your warrior palms up and reach back. Try to see if you can lengthen the small muscles in between your ribs. Bend strongly into the front knee. Move from here into triangle pose. Again, kind of moving your hip to the back as you lean forward. And maybe further down, either looking down or up, whatever works. Take a look at the ground. Again, fingers on the ground, lift the back heel up. Make sure your feet are still hip width apart. And we do our high lunge, if you can keep your balance. Extend the arms up without elevating your shoulders. And go low. Then take your hands behind you, fold them, squeeze shoulder blades before you move into a back bend, really opening up. Still gaze on the ground if it's hard to keep the balance. Beautiful. Let's go, hands down on the ground. And here we go. Lift up right leg. Open up your hip. Ujjayi breath still going. Close your hip, knee underneath yourself, and move it to your left side. Pivot the back foot around as you lift up in your supported side plank. You can definitely lift this foot off the ground if you want a challenge. Both hands down the ground. Move the back foot and also lift right leg up. And maybe stay here in your open hip or do your wild thing as you move the back foot around, lifting your hip up, using your behinds as you lift and throw your arms up, creating length from the toe to the hand. Awesome. Let go. Both hands on the ground. Optional vinyasa. We might as well do it now. Inhale, plank. Exhale, lower down. Remember, you can still use your knees. Inhale, lift your chest. Down dog, exhale. If you have a lot of energy today, stay in your down dog. If you need a little bit of a rest, move into child's pose. I suggest you take your hands here behind you, almost together with your feet. Forehead on the ground. And practice the competence of being completely on and moving and using the muscles, and then to complete relaxation. Move your hands to the front of your mat and give yourself a little bit of a stretch on your shoulders. We'll do a little bit of strengthening for our back and our core before we repeat the sequence and add the last few postures. But before that, I would advise you to kind of stretch your arms. So let your fingers reach. You sit in hero pose. Fingers reach towards your thighs. The place of the palm, reach down, bend your elbows in towards yourself. Awesome. Come down on your mat. Let's do Plow Pose. So bend the knees and flex the feet. We're reaching for the ankles. If this is not an option, you might take a hold of your tights or just reach back. I enjoy taking my knees a little bit out as I grab my heels, and then I move my knees a little bit together again. Kick the heels, or not the heels, well, the ankles into your hands. Lift the knees off the ground, squeezing your buttocks, shoulder blades. What are we missing? A smile. And remember, maybe just 1 or 2 breaths here is enough. Last breath. Let go. Stack your hands at your forehead. Rest on the hands. Toenails point in towards each other. Let go. Arms somewhat underneath your shoulders, but a little bit further back. Lift up, sit down on your mat, toes and feet pointing to the front. Leaning back. If you have a sore back or any back issues, you might just come all the way down, resting on the mat and doing your bicycle instead of doing it like this. This is a little bit advanced. I'm really not good at it, but I'll try. Okay, navel in. You can also just do your regular boat pose. And avoid moving fast. Instead, try really to stretch the knees. Really twisting. Trying to keep our balance. And 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ah, that's good. Move your feet back. Hands to the top end of your mat and just walk your feet slowly to the front. And hang in your forward fold. Maybe taking a hold of your calves here and pulling yourself a little bit deeper. Remember to bend the knees as much as you need to. All right, let go. Vertebrae by vertebrae, moving up into your mountain pose. Prayer pose with your hands. Remind yourself of your intention. And maybe if it should affect some of the postures that we will do in the last time through, adding on the last postures. Right leg to the front, point your toes, arm lifts up, navel in as you might lean a little bit back. Hand in front of your chest, warrior 3-ish pose. And really lengthen. Lower down the foot. This is the right foot, turn it around. Left arm reaches down without a block or with a block. Left arm reach up. Lift into warrior 2. Inhale as you reverse your warrior. Exhale as you really deepen in the side stretch. Inhale, prepare your triangle, move forward. Exhale and stay here for a breath. Look down, hands on the floor, lift the back heel up, sink the hip down. Look towards the front here. And lift up in Crescent Lunge. And we'll do another kind of a back bend. Just throw your arms out to the side as you use your strength to lean back. Both hands down on the floor. And before we move to that plank thing, we will again extend the right leg up, going to your forward fold with a split. So this time, just go for a lift with the right leg there. Whatever works. You feel the power of this pose? All right, close the hip. Bend left knee. Try to see if you can keep your balance moving into eagle pose. Now, any sort of balance pose is perfectly fine here. If you can't do eagle, I'll show you. Right leg pivots or turns around here. Grabs the leg, and maybe you grab the toe around the leg, maybe just have the toes out there. Let's just do cactus hand. So this is an eagle on a cactus. Sink low. Squeeze your inner thighs. You are doing good. Now release. Step your right leg back. Let the toe reach down. Now we're getting to it. Left leg, lift it up and back, opening up your hip. Inhale, As you close your hips, throw it out to your right side. Exhale. Inhale, lift up. Supported side. Plank. Exhale. Hands down. Lift the back heel up. Left leg moves up. Staying here. Or do your flip, your wild, crazy thing. Make it back towards the mat. And then jump or walk your feet to the outer edge of your hands. Let your toes point a little bit out and find your yoga squat. Now from here, you can basically do any sort of handstand or balance that you want to do. I'll invite you into Plow Pose. So if you don't know it, listen up. If you do know it or you want something more advanced, go ahead. Now, fingers down on the mat, spread them out, just as you would do in a downward facing dog. Bend your elbows back towards yourself. Now lift the heels up, and you take your knee, either the knee joint or the kneecap on your triceps there. Make sure you bend your elbows. Look a little bit to the front and lean into your arms. This is hard, and be careful. Maybe you want to practice this. Maybe your heels or your feet lift up. Maybe you want to practice this with a pillow in front of your head. Come down. We don't want to wreck our wrists. Shake it out. Then walk your feet. Again, hip width apart to the front of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, high mountain. Prayer pose, palms together. Catch your breath. And let's do it. Left leg to the front, point your toes, arms up, and lean maybe back. Prayer pose again, navel in as you take your left leg back in warrior 3. Lower down the foot to the back end of the mat. Turn the foot around. Right arm down, left arm up. Let the hip here sink low. Warrior 2. Reversed warrior. Inhale as you prepare, and exhale as you move back. Inhale again as you prepare triangle pose. Exhale as you reach down and take one large breath. Moving into high lunge, back heel off. Maybe you move the front foot a little bit more out to the side to get that hip width distance. Arms lift up. Tucking shoulder blades back and together. Throw your arms a lot or just a little bit back, deepening the back bend, noticing any uncomfortable feelings in the back, lower spine. All right, lean forward using your core, hands down, framing the front foot. Lift the back foot a little bit closer, and then up. Open up your hip, throw up, not like that, but a left leg up, 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 up. Forward fold-ish if you're not afraid of falling. Still with fingers on the ground, close the hip. Now this eagle pose. Let go of the ground as you take this left leg and cross it. Thighs squeezing together 1 or 2 times around. Cactus stance if you're there. Make sure you bend your knees. It's really hard to get into this eagle pose if your knees are not bended. Awesome. Let go, step left foot back, hands down. And then we do it, the last hard part. Right leg up and back, open up your hip. Close your hip, inhale. Exhale, side plank. Make sure you turn the back foot around there. Take one breath. wild thing, or just the hip opener. Again, turn the feet around, right leg up, and maybe back behind you. Bend this elbow a tiny bit, especially if you're used to hyperextending. And let go. This time, jump or walk your feet to the front and come down on a seated pose. So you might cross your legs, and it's easier to sit down. Stretch your legs out. How are you doing? Hopefully getting a little bit tired. Let's lean forward with the chest leading. So go down. If you can reach your feet, go for that. Just hold whatever you can down here. Stretching your hamstrings, stretching your lower back. Now you might want to stay in this forward position. I'll invite you into the Plow Pose. If you don't know it, please take a look before you enter. I don't want you to move your neck to the side to look at the screen when you're in there, okay? Really important, it can cause a neck injury. So Plow Pose, if you know it, go ahead. If you don't, take a look, and I'll tell you when you can enter into it. Now you come back on your spine here. Lift your feet off, maybe bend the knee. Take a hold of your hip. Try to see if you can line your hip with your shoulders. This is the pose where I don't want you to move your neck. Bend the knees, and if you want, extend the legs out. Now the full Plow Pose. Your feet will reach down, hands down here. But that might not be an option, so just hold and bend your knees if you like. Now it's your time to try. So you can quit looking at the screen and enter into this pose. When you're there, you might need to relax your shoulders a little bit. Close your eyes so you're not compelled to look to the side. If you're ready, take a hold of your hip, still not looking at the screen, and gently come out of it, rolling your spine all the way down towards the mat. Bend your knees and let your feet reach the floor. Now you can look at the screen again. But you don't need to, I think. Just let the knees reach each other and relax. We'll do a somewhat deep spinal twist. So take your right leg and cross it above the other leg, like we did in eagle pose without wrapping, though. Now if you're taking right leg on top, you move to your left side, all the way to the side of your hip. Right arm out, opposite direction. If this is too much, don't cross your legs, just stack them above each other and roll to the side. You can either take a look at the hand reaching out to your right side, or just close your eyes, nose pointing up. You don't need to use your Ujjayi breath anymore, just the deep breaths. Let go as you move back onto your spine. Release your legs, take a breath. And then left leg on top. Now if you roll all the way out of your mat, you might want to move yourself a little bit in towards your left side, as then you move your legs to your right. Left arm out. If you can't reach the floor, never mind. Maybe have a block to put your hand on. It's a nice thing. Maybe take a look at your spine. Are you kind of curving your spine, or is the spine somewhat aligned with the long end of the mat? That's what we want to go for. Moving back on the back. Now to get a stretch somewhat on our lower back, let's do a happy baby. Love this really odd pose. Bend your knees, 90 degree somewhat. Flex your feet. Now move your knees out to each side here, even further out than your shoulders if you can. Take your hands on the inside of your knees, and I invite you to grab the outer edge of your foot here. If you can't do that, just hold your ankles. Pull your legs down without drawing your knees or your heels together, okay? So pull the knees down and widen the distance between your knees with your elbows. Now, I see a lot of people lifting their behinds there, trying to lengthen and lower down the back of the spine. If you like to be playful, you can roll a little bit from side to side. And maybe you get back to the sentence you might have had with you along this class. See if the sentence has changed in its meaning to you. Maybe change meaning laying here in this weird pose. Release, and now there is time for rest. I will give you 1 minute, so please make sure you stay down. I have a timer, so I will stop talking after I've explained what to do. So let your feet reach out, hands down on the mat, open up your shoulders, maybe put a block underneath your shoulders there. Close your eyes and let your whole face completely relax, like you are sinking into the mat. And then just 1 minute. The 1 minute is up. But be honest, if you need to stay down here a few more minutes, please allow yourself the benefits of the rest you might have felt in your mind. If not, you wriggle your toes and all that, but take your time. I'll just finish the video for now. Thank you so much for joining me and for helping me get this channel further out to people all around, and especially also here in Europe. Thank you. Have an awesome day.